And it looks like it might be working. Good morning everyone. Been a while since I've sat down in front of the computer and done a video, and we got some schedule coordination kind of things. Normally I like to do my videos while I'm out running around showing you what's going on. But today we have massive amounts of rain headed our way. For those of you who keep an eye on those things, we have pretty good chance of thunderstorms at any time now. And it's good. We could stand the water as you're driving around. Most of the ponds around here are way below their normal water level mark. We need water. Now, T and I here at the homestead don't need water. The little bits of rain that we've gotten over the fall here in towards the end of fall, all the tanks are essentially full, so we're not doing bad with that. We're doing pretty good. Things are going pretty good here on the homestead. To give you guys updates, we have let's just get right into it. So, a couple thoughts I want to share with you based on observations, based on reading headlines and so on and so forth, is sanity seems to be something that's at a premium right now. I want to tell you, a lot of people that I've had to interact with, you can see the stresses that are happening here. Let's see, it's early. You can see right here, it's still dark out. And so we're running half on generator, half on battery for the computer here. Generator, we're running. Freezers are oh my goodness, pardon me. So yes, you can see the stresses going on in this world. I think a lot of that is by design, to keep everybody mentally off balance, spiritually off balance. And for even T and I, with some of the issues that we've dealt with, it's been tough for us. So I can only imagine, each and every one of you are going to be dealing with the same thing. I don't know anybody that I've talked to, that even the best of our community out here that I know, that are very well prepared in all aspects, still aren't just mentally going, oh my God, we're here and things are crazy like we thought they would be. It's amazing though, we've had a lot of extra time. Many years have gone by before this has actually occurred, so there's been an extra at least decade almost. We all thought this was going to pop back in 2011 or 12 or something. That's my mug of coffee. I still haven't had it. Waking up with you, my friends. Waking up with you. So, I truly believe in the understanding of the tribulation of man. Like I say, for even the best that I've seen out there, the strongest minds, the strongest people, even those individuals are still dealing with their challenges. And each and every one of us is going to be dealing with these challenges. And that's because we have gone so far off track of where we should be, physically and spiritually and mentally, emotionally. So it's a challenge. So on this morning, before we go into what we're going to discuss here in a minute, I want to, or T and I both, she's over making biscuits and gravy, our own homemade biscuits and our own gravy, pork sausage gravy with her own, everything's, essentially has come out of our growth, except for like salt, ground pepper. Those are things you kind of got to stock up on, but we make everything from scratch. So if you could be here, smell vision. I've talked about this before. You need to smell. Oh my God, we come up with this place. Our cabin will get to smelling so good sometimes. It's awesome. But yeah, my friends, find peace. Find peace in your heart, and it's not easy to do with what's going. We're gonna have to maintain our internal vibration amongst all the bombs going off around us. They are, I mean, the headlines are entirely insane. The people I've come in contact with, you either see the division. You see the division between those who have a conscience, those who have a loving, caring soul, and those who don't. The ones who don't, the ones that have sold their souls, so to speak, to the dark side, they're living in a bit of peace and confidence because their behavior isn't under check. This is very important. Their behaviors aren't in check. They aren't being questioned. They aren't worried about their own actions and how things work and go. Those of us who do have a conscience are having to deal with our own personal issues, and that's why it is, I think, the tribulation of men and man and women and all of us, and we are all dealing with our own inequities, and we're realizing that now because I think, as I've stated many times before, our personal growth comes from looking within. We do not grow if we do not look within and see our own inequities and our problems and our issues, and that's what we're all struggling with. And because I think subconsciously, I think most of us are realizing, well, you know, the bill is coming due. The bill is coming due, and we're going to have to pay up in some form or fashion for things that we've done right or done wrong. So it's not easy for us to face our own issues, whether we have our power or not, whether we've treated people right, how. You know, and on and on and on. I can go on, and we're all dealing with it. And even the best people that I know are still dealing with it because they see what's coming down. So let's talk a little bit about, for just a minute, and this is the kind of main reason I wanted to do the video, get it done shortly after I got up and got showered and was kind of clear-headed. For one, you know, it's going to be absolutely storming here soon. It's headed our way, so it'll make it difficult to do videos. Can't do them outside. Make it hard to do them in here because when it rains, boy, it gets loud in here. But we have an infestation of ladybugs in this place. One of them just hit me in the ear. So all signs are now pointing to the day of reckoning. And as has been said by a lot of folks, we will not know the day or the hour, but it appears, and that's going to be an interesting statement to the second half of this, but it appears that the consensus of all our different sources based on their information here and there is that sometime between the 21st and the 28th, you know, in 2 weeks, a week to 2 weeks from now, everything unfolds. And what I'm hearing is the bond market will go first. Either the dollar or the bond market will go first. When it goes, things are going to happen fast. 24 to 48 hour period goes once or twice around the plan of absolute destruction. The majority of it will be. And there's a lot of people talking about different, you know, what's going to happen with this and that, and, you know, and because the stock market, you know, as fake as that is, has been used as a tool, as a psychological programming for the masses that, excuse me, pardon me, that if the stock market's up and all these numbers are up, that everything's good. See, it must be good because that's up. If everything was bad, then that would be down, right? Well, there's a few individuals out there saying, oh no, we're going to have a blow off top. Technically, in my opinion, if you look at a long enough chart on the Dow and the S&P, we've already had a blow off top over the last couple of years, since about 2016 when number 45 came in. At that point in time, after 2015 and 16, we were looking at a potential rollover then. The market, the technicals said it shouldn't go up, and then it did. And so we've gone pretty much vertical, and then in the last 18 months, since March of last year, it has been vertical. You look at it on the proper timeline, it's been vertical. So could we potentially, so I was discussing with my community member, boy, that guy's got a lot of energy. I mean, he is like got volts running through him, I tell you what, buddy. He and I were talking. There's a guy he was listening to, and I go through all the names, people, but talking about, well, we're still going to see a blow off top. And I said, well, that's a possibility. And what my gut tells me is the slosh of, and it's been spoken about other people, the slosh of money when the plug, as Money GPS guy talked about, he said, did a video about the plug getting pulled. No immediate reactions yet, but the tightening that the Fed's doing, that's going to have its ramifications, because it's just, when you got a fake system, it can't run like that, and especially this late and long. So what I suspect is a lot of these things can manifest still, and in a very short period of time, we could potentially see that. So if people start running out of the dollar and bonds, and they're looking for a place to go, for those who are normies, they might go into the stock market and go back into Tesla or Amazon or some of those, and all of a sudden those stocks start shooting to the moon. But in the end, when the realization is that the system's ending, then it could be violently reversed. And we've seen that kind of action in the crypto world, where we've had massive moves up and down in a very fast period of time. And I think that's an energetic sign of the ground crumbling under the financial system, because I know there is no foundation. And because there's no foundation, well, the whole thing's weak. So what I'm kind of hearing is that over the Christmas holiday, that's when we're going to have some very, very powerful moves, but not in the stock market yet. And then I've gotten 3 different reports. I was talking to one of my metal dealers yesterday, and he was saying, well, he's heard a couple of, from his side, so it's probably 3 or maybe 4, I don't know, sources saying for a specific date that January 7th, that the stock market would have its fall of 80%. Now it's pretty big, folks, to make to have specific calls, and I think one of the names that was tied to that was Rickards. He's not a idiot. I know he knows what a lot of us know about making predictions. One of the ones I wanted to kind of show you as we were doing the charting and analysis way back when, a few years back, when we would we would do that through the silver market, and I would show you, okay, technicals say this, but then here comes the big dump of paper, and it's hard to compete against corruption. So, two things. If you're going to make a prediction, you either make a prediction of a date, which Mr. Polney's done a lot of, and say something's going to happen on this date. Don't know what, but something's going to happen. That way, if a big event happens, well, you can kind of say, see, there's something that happened, and you can kind of be right. Or you say, this event will happen, but I don't know when. You never really want to tie a date and a time together because the chances of you being right aren't very high. So I think Rickards is maybe the source for some of this information from others. You know, things filter around and come back in. But the point is this. Between December 22nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and January 7th, if one region of money is collapsing, it needs to flow into another, because we'll use a reference from another YouTuber that I'm going to comment on here in a second, is Mr. GM. I used to listen to him early on, started back in 2011, but things changed about 4 or 5 years ago, and the value of listening, and I've discussed this in previous videos, the value of listening was not worth my time. There was not enough new information, and it was the same rhetoric, so I moved on. And as long as I feel like I can gain something, that's why I tell you listen to all and follow none, because there are some really good individuals out there, even though I don't agree with them 100% all the time. I like to listen to them because they have good hearts, they want to help people, and they're trying to do things from a positive direction. So this individual was not very positive. So one of the things he made mention of years ago is that money does not die. It merely moves from place to place. So in that, I think it is possible that we may actually get the melt up in the stock market for a brief period of time. That would make sense. Where's it going? And if you understand Mr. Chris Dwayne's analysis of the Exeter's pyramid, where you're going from this down to this, down to this, down to this asset or liability, depending upon where you are in the pyramid, the upside down pyramid. Okay, friends. Yeah, it could slosh around. It could go from here to here to here before it finally, swimming pool through a garden hose goes into the PMs, and maybe the cryptos for a bit too. We'll have to see how that slosh works. There's a lot of analysis on the technicals of where it's going to go and how fast it's going to go, but we're here. We can see that. So most of you are prepared. This is what I'm hearing, and we've been expecting it for a long time, and there's some dates that have come and gone, but listen to your gut, listen to my gut. What do we feel? I think there's no doubt in my mind now that it is actually happening behind the scenes, especially when the headlines are working for that timing. Even though Evergrande started to default in August, and all these things were happening in August and September and October and even into November, it really hasn't popped yet. It looks like this is the time. And then there's some biblical references or some prophet references, and then some other things saying something special because of the Christmas date of the 25th and how that relates to the dark side's calendar versus the light side calendar. All this crazy stuff that's going on as to why and when. In the end, it's I think it's mental noise, but in the end, we need to know where we're going with it. So that's what I wanted to share with you. For the most part, is it appears like it's going to be rather exciting. Things are changing drastically. I do want to say this. I am not going to back off or change my gut feeling on the long-term aspects of this, because there are a lot of people that still say, "Oh well, yeah, it'll be ugly. It'll be like 2008, 2009. We'll fix it. Maybe we'll go on a gold standard, and then everything will go on as normal." And I don't think that's possible in this case, because of the level of corruption that has eroded the foundation of our entire social and moral structure. So as I've stated before, I will reinforce my thoughts here that this is not going to happen and then things go back to normal. We, as a human race, are going to have to fix our mess-ups completely. And we can't really truly start the rebuild on that until we're done tearing down. And there's a substantial amount of tear down that still has to happen. And as I've mentioned over and over again, it's going to have to tear down all the way down into your very local structures, your very local communities, into your families and your relationships. We are all going to have to reevaluate ourselves morally and spiritually. We are all going to work through this. Nobody gets out of this without working. Not happening. We will have to work. We're going to have to produce our own food. We're going to have to, as a community, produce the things that we need for sustenance, because our ability to move them from place to place is going to go away. And then as a region, and I don't like the word state, but in order for this to end, federal, state, and local governments are going to have to tear down and rebuild into a different structure, because it is the state that is the corruption. It is that government, that mind control, that is the corruption. We, the people, will have to figure out a better way. Anarchical mindsets will put together some kind of, maybe it's a voluntarism. I don't know how that's going to work out. I have some ideas that I would like to try, but in the end, that's what we're all going to figure out. So everybody, you've had years and years to prepare to literally do it all on your own or within a small community, so that the community can work together with its different skill sets and assets to support each other. If you do not have community, good luck. Fortunately, I have a pretty decent community with a handful of people that I do have. The ones that I do have are strong. They're not weak. They have very good strengths, and they have very scattered strengths in this area and that area, and so on and so forth. So I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of what God and the universe has done to bring into my life and T's life the things that we have. So I give thanks for that, because I don't think I could handle what we got to deal with without having what we have in front of us. So long video. We're going into a season where we normally reflect upon things and choose a place of joy and gifting, regardless of its biblical timing versus its when things really occurred. Did Christ get born on the 25th or 24th, or did was he really born in September? I don't think that really matters, in my opinion. I think what matters is how we choose to feel about ourselves, how we choose to feel about each other, and how we help and give to each other. Those are very, very important understandings and concepts of how we do things. If we could have Christmas, Christ's Mass, or Christ within us, that the essence of that 365, well, would we have the issues that we have now? I don't think so, but we still got problems that we got to work through. So it's going to be a bumpy ride, my friends. We're going to go into a new year, and when we get into that new year, things are going to change above and beyond what even I can imagine and you can imagine. So keep a cool heart, a cool mind, find love where you can, find joy and happiness where you can. Hey honey, come on over here. I'm not sure we're going to be putting up much in the way of videos over the next few weeks. I think we may just be quietly being watchers and observers and taking things in. Is that?
Yep.
That's that little ladybug. I told you one hit me in the ear. I didn't know it was still there. So many of you have gifted back to us immensely. And look up here, honey. Look at the camera. Let them see your eyes. You have beautiful eyes. You used to you want to watch yourself, but you got to look in the camera. I'm looking at you because I want to see into your hearts and soul. That's why I give you my eyes, so you can see into my heart and soul. We love you. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you that have come along on our journey with us. We have built what I call our Garden of Eden, and I truly believe that. And we appreciate all the gifts that have come in return for what we have given you in our knowledge and wisdom and navigation and understanding and technical analysis and technical construction and skill sets and gardening and all the things that we've shared with you, is because we want your life to look as beautiful as we are trying to produce for ourselves. So on that, even though it's a bit early, what do you want to say?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever
it is.
Celebrate.
Most of you are going to be celebrating the Mass of Christ, and I'm down with that big time. So we love you. In the next few weeks, I got a couple more videos that we're going to put up, but I'm going to really truly start focusing only on the how-to videos, which means a lot of those videos are going to go up on my other channel, Heritage Homestead Creations. Along with this video, I'm going to be posting part 2 of the cheese press. I'm almost done with them, and please go over there if you haven't, subscribe. And that's, until we can get into a world where the freedom of speech is revered by all, and we're not dealing with a potential AI system, I'm going to significantly reduce that, because by now I would hope that you have a clear understanding of that aspect that we're having to deal with and fight with. So I'm going to just quietly sit back, and not endeavoring that. I may even go as far as to take down a lot of that off of my other channel, simply to quietly exit the algorithms. So be forewarned. On another note, due to some of the things that have occurred and some of the things that we're learning about that side of things, depending upon how things go, we probably will be doing that on another end. We're probably going to start getting rid of and changing our comm ball and chains. If you understand what I'm saying there, dropping the numbers that we have, changing the numbers that we have, getting rid of that, so that there's a lot of you that have our number that we text and call frequently, and I know a lot of you are going to be like, well, how do I reach you? Well, the email will always be there, because I can do that outside of my immediate vicinity. I can go anywhere and check and communicate on that, but my Garden of Eden needs to have as little of that technology connected to it as possible. It doesn't belong here. Here I'm in connection with the higher spirit, God, and I don't want those devices that are controlled by the other side that's letting the spy into your bunker. It's got to end. So we're not done and over with it. We got a long ways to go, and until I know in my heart that having those tools will not do harm to me as they have done, then I don't need them. So y'all have to think about that yourselves. When is the point that you say no more? Because that is the system of control. You think about that. I will be putting up some videos from time to time on Heritage Homestead Creations, and that's it. That's what we got for you. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the relationships that have been built. The strong ones will still survive through all the changes, as best we can. And y'all be blessed. Have a absolutely fantastic holidays, and sit back and record history, because this is huge. So, anything else? Say bye. Bye. Y'all be blessed.